biggest challenges, I think, for what I'll call oldsters, like me, oldsters like me,
us.
right? Like us, right? Oldsters like us,
Yeah.
when they're looking at career change, is that they might have been in a career that didn't require heavy technology use. And suddenly, everything that they're looking at is technology required.
Yeah.
So how do they overcome the fear of that technology?
Great question. And this is something that I see a lot when I go around and speak about my book. People are really nervous about learning all these new technologies out there. And you know, Sarah, I think part of that is due to the fact that when you and I were in high school and we learned technology, it was things like base 10 and punch cards.
Needed a good rubber band on those punch cards and don't trip up the library steps.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was terrible at it.
Right.
It was scary.
Right.
And so if that's your reference point, that's what learning technology means, it seems like a pretty high hurdle that you have to get over. In reality, of course, a lot of this technology these days is like plug and play. I mean, it's really child's play. You know, as an example, I have an electronic newsletter. When I go to put that together, I'm not doing any coding. I simply pull up a template, I type in my information. As long as I can type, I then hit send. They handle all the back end of it. Mm-hmm. Same thing when I, use Twitter or Facebook. I don't mean to minimize the fear, but the reality is so many of the tools out there are really very, very simple to use. So in order to get over the fear, it's a couple of things. One is just getting exposed to some of these new technologies. You know, if Twitter scares the living daylights out of you, don't go onto Twitter and start tweeting. Just be a lurker for a while. Watch what other people are doing. And then in order to learn some of the technical skills that you may need for some other jobs, there's so many training options out there these days. You can go to community colleges, continuing education programs. Online, there are all sorts of online courses that you can take. Even YouTube these days has videos that you can watch to learn new technical skills.
The other thing is, it's really interesting to that point, you don't have to be a master of it. Us perfectionists worry that if I'm not a master of whatever the program is, that I can't do it, or I can't interview about it, or I can't talk about it.
Right.
But there are a lot of people who don't know technology so well.
Yeah.
So you just have to be able to, in some places, just know the basics and understand the basics.
That's right. And
then
also,
learn as you go.
And understand you don't have to learn it all at once.
Exactly.
Approach it one technology at a time, and if all else fails, call your kids.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that's a really neat thing for especially anyone that's a grandparent, or even parents where you got teens and they don't talk to you anymore.
Right.
It's a great opportunity to connect.
It is.
There's nothing that kids like better than being able to show the grown-ups how smart they are, right?
Yeah.
And I've watched my in-laws, my parents, the grandkids teach them. And it's such a great connection for them.
Right.
It's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Bottom line is don't be scared by it.
All right. No fear. Thank you, Nancy Colliver.